Welcome to Edinburgh. I'm near the summit of Arthur's Seat. It's over there, but over there is very windy and full of tourists, and I didn't know if they'd be very interested in how my interview with Sandy from Rape Crisis Scotland and Miss M went, so I've come down here to have a chat. And I kind of find myself in those moments, like I want to have an excited conversation about the sector and things she sees, and so it's good that I have the discipline of having a list of questions to get through, because otherwise we would have what would be a very interesting chat, but possibly, like when we sat down to edit, it would be a bit too chaotic. So grateful for the thinking about the themes and having effectively a scripted list of questions before we started. And then I got to interview Miss M, and I think for me this is the interview that makes the whole thing really simple. Like you do that documentary thing of, this person thinks this and that person thinks that, and it's all about opinions and data and research, but then you hear her story of what it was like to use the criminal justice system, and stories like that simply shouldn't exist. Two really interesting interviews today, and like once again I'm sat here thinking, how on earth are we going to edit those? Like you talk for a good 50 minutes and probably those two voices will get 5 minutes tops in the final program. And there were so many powerful points. Like Sandy's been working in this sector for a long time. She had such a great way of just distilling it down to, no, this is the problem. And some really important messages, sure, for politicians and people who are involved in the criminal justice system, but really like for the public, to take an interest, see what's going on. Like there's something of, I think part of maybe the Me Too movement, there's an awakening going on, and maybe content like this can be part of that awakening, because this stuff is important. And then when it comes to Miss M, it's like, actually one of the things I'm holding is there were a few things that she said which, like everything she said was important and valuable and interesting, but like you kind of have to cut it down to the core themes of the program. But there were some things in there which I'm sure are like personally important to her, like a really important component of her story and her activism. And I can already feel the sensitivity of, oh God, could we also include that? Can we please make space for it, or can we find some other way of making space for that if it can't be within the 30 minutes of the program? So like once again, how do you edit this stuff, and what gets left in and what doesn't, what themes get a platform, what themes don't. So that's going to be interesting when we get around to it. But like most people, you do your interviews and I'm like, cool, let's climb up a hill, which I have usefully with my recording equipment. But it's been really lovely that the program has brought me back to Edinburgh, because this is home number 2 for the Consent Collective, and it's nice to be back here, and I have to say it's the first time I've been here and it's warm. And then next week, like we've spoken now to Sir John Gillen, we've got Sandy talking from the voice of experience in terms of the sector, we've got first-hand account from Miss M. Next week it's the turn of the politicians.